Now at noon, Governor Asa Hutchinson touring damage left behind by an EF3 tornado in northwest Arkansas, plus decreased demand for COVID-19 boosters, despite some people being eligible for that second shot. The message from Arkansas doctors. An iconic gas guzzler going electric, what the electric Hummer means for the auto industry as a whole, and celebrating 50 years of hip-hop. We're getting a sneak peek at the newest exhibit at the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center in downtown Little Rock. Thanks for watching THV 11 News at noon on this Thursday. I'm Michael Aaron, meteorologist Nathan Scott over in the Weather Center. It's a little cloudy and cool for this time of year, huh, Nathan?
Good afternoon, Michael. We start off the day with plenty of sun, but we've got colder air moving in the upstairs part of the atmosphere, so that's why the clouds have started to develop, and they are taking over the skies quite a bit across central Arkansas. Temperatures into the upper 50s. We hit 62 at Little Rock, and with those clouds building their way in, that's going to hold the numbers down. Also, it's on the breezy to windy side. Those winds kicking in from the northwest and west, about 15 to as high as 25 miles per hour. Temperatures today will climb a few more degrees, but like I said, those clouds are going to be a cap on the temperatures, so highs low to mid 60s, probably only into the 50s in North Arkansas. Tomorrow will be cooler. Looking into the weekend, though, we've got some really nice weather lined up. Saturday, lots of sun, highs mid to upper 60s. Sunday, temperatures soaring into the mid to upper 70s, but enjoy the weekend because going into next week, the weather could turn nasty. The chance of strong to severe thunderstorms continues to increase, and I'll have more on that potential and also a frosty start to a Saturday coming up.
New at noon, Governor Asa Hutchinson traveled to northwest Arkansas this morning to tour the damage left behind by last week's severe weather. An EF3 tornado damaged several homes and buildings in Springdale. The governor says the damage assessment should be completed next week. He does not believe it meets the threshold needed for public government assistance at the federal level. He added that officials are still working to evaluate if it meets state requirements so individuals can receive some assistance. We'll have more from his visit tonight at 5 and 6. Positive news in the fight against COVID-19. We're seeing a record-breaking decline in activity across Arkansas. Take a look. The number of active cases is at a 2-year low in the state. On Wednesday, hospitalizations fell below 100 for the first time in nearly 2 years. But the Omicron subvariant BA.2 has been expanding statewide. According to health officials, it made up 1/3 of all cases last month. It's only been a little more than a week since the FDA approved a second booster shot for people 50 and older. Throughout the pandemic, pharmacies and clinics have seen a rush anytime expanded vaccine eligibility is announced. But as THV 11's Mercedes McKay finds out, this time it's a little different.
Many people may have let it fly under the radar because, let's be honest, we all have that pandemic fatigue. Or some people may be thinking, I already have 3, why do I need another? But doctors I spoke to say this shot is just as important as the first.
I think it's just as important. Let's get that high level immunity back up there because we sure don't want to see those folks in the hospital.
You may have heard or you may not have, but if you're 50 and over or immunocompromised and it's been 4 months since your last booster, you can go get another shot. But many are wondering why.
We do know that those that have gotten a single booster are still highly protected against having severe disease, but taking this booster helps, again, reduce that rate even further.
So do you need a rush to get it? Dr. Robert Hopkins with UAMS says if you have health issues, then head to a local pharmacy as soon as you can. But his advice is a little different for those healthy and eligible.
You don't need to rush in and make it an emergency to get it done. You should get it done, but you can take your time a little bit.
That relaxed approach is what Randy Casasilla is seeing at his pharmacy in North Little Rock.
We may have given out a handful of second boosters. That's about it right now.
Compared to the first round of booster shots, he says it's night and day.
We were probably doing hundreds those weeks, probably 30 or 40 in a day, and now we're doing 25 in a week.
It's a little bit of a different story at Frederica Pharmacy and Compounding.
Would you like to do that today?
Owner Lynn Fouché says there's a good turnout, but he believes it's been a tad slower because of the smaller patient group and lower infections.
People are kind of having a wait and see thought, a lot of them.
No matter where your head is at, health officials say get that second boost.
I don't want to let our guard down when we're at a point where life is moving back toward normal.
Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.
All right, Mercedes, Dr. Hopkins says he's not sure when or if they'll expand the eligibility for the second booster to other age groups. He is hopeful, though. We'll be talking about getting kids under 5 that first dose soon. Ukrainian officials are urging people in the eastern part of the country to leave now before Russia sends more troops their way. Meanwhile, the UN General Assembly has voted to suspend Russia from its Human Rights Council. Skylar Henry has the latest.
About 1,000 Ukrainians fleeing the hard-hit city of Mariupol have been rescued by the Red Cross. Buses could not make it to them, but residents able to travel outside the city to board. Mariupol's mayor estimates Russian troops have killed 5,000 civilians, and Ukrainian officials are warning that number could get much higher if remaining residents in the country's eastern region don't leave soon. Russia says that's where it will concentrate its troops, and the fighting is expected to intensify. Today, Ukraine is asking the G7 and NATO for more weapons to prevent further atrocities.
Either you help us now, and I'm speaking about days, not weeks, or your help will come too late.
In the city of Bucha, more than 400 civilians' bodies were found. Many shot in the street at close range with their hands bound. There are survivors, including this woman, who says she and her family stayed in her freezing basement for 35 days. Today, the UN General Assembly will vote on a resolution that will strip Russia of its seat on the Human Rights Council. In response to the civilian deaths, there have been a steady stream of sanctions announced by the Biden administration. Today, the Commerce Department says it will move to prevent Russian airlines from receiving items from the U.S., including parts for their aircraft.
On this vote, the yeas are 100.
This morning, the Senate voted on a bill that strips Russia of its most favored nation status. It's already passed in the House.
The legislation will go a long way to landing a painful, severe blow on Putin's economy. It will hinder his ability to keep funding his war machine.
Yesterday, President Biden announced new sanctions against Russia's largest banks and the two grown daughters of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The Senate has also voted unanimously to ban the importation of Russian oil. Top U.S. oil executives are having their feet held to the fire. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill grilled the heads of BP, Shell, ExxonMobil, and others about high gas prices yesterday. While the Russia-Ukraine war has sent prices at the pump higher, oil costs have come down, but profits for oil companies have surged. The execs claim they're not taking advantage of the war to pad their bottom line. In about 40 minutes, the Senate will vote on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court. The expected outcome will make history. Lawmakers are poised to confirm Judge Jackson. She'll be the first black woman to sit on the nation's highest court in its 233-year history. A majority of Republican senators say they'll oppose the confirmation, but at least 3 of them say they'll join Democrats in voting for Judge Jackson. It all but assures her confirmation.
We've believed from the beginning that her record, her impeccable credentials warranted bipartisan support, and that is exactly what she is going to get.
Judge Jackson's confirmation would make her the first former public defender on the Supreme Court. It adds a perspective to the bench that Democrats say has been missing. The vote is set for around 12:45. CBS will carry a special report when that wraps up. Hip-hop has taken over the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center in Little Rock for the next several months. A new exhibit called And the Beat Don't Stop opens tonight in honor of the genre's 50th anniversary. It features gold and platinum records, vintage shoes connected to the height of the hip-hop style, and so much more. Curator Courtney Bradford hopes the exhibit brings the genre to life for visitors. For her, hip-hop means liberation. She wants everyone who stops by to feel the same way.
A lot of times hip-hop songs are songs that I choose to wake up to kind of get me going. And so with that, it just takes you to a whole completely different space. And I want people to be able to experience that.
It all kicks off tonight at 5 at the Mosaic Templars Cultural Center. It'll be open to the public until July 1st. You can learn more about the exhibit right now on thv11.com. Just click on the Wake Up Central tab. GM is rolling out an electric Hummer, but don't expect it to be cheap. How the auto company is justifying the price tag coming up at 12:17. Nathan.
And the sun is mixing in with more clouds every hour that goes by, and that's just because we got this upper level system. That's going to keep the temperatures unseasonably cool for the next couple days, and then all eyes are on next week for the potential of strong to severe thunderstorms.